Over the last 72 hours, I have been having ample conversations with people in the space, people who are at the event, people who have been in and around creators, the creators in question, and I have some information I want to share with you guys. We're going to jump right into it. First of all, thank you so much for the support the last couple days. Coming back to the Internet Invitational, I guess, was really good, semi-accidental timing. As much as you'd think I planned it out, I really didn't actually plan it out that much to come back at this time, but it definitely worked out well. And yeah, I appreciate your support in the videos. But what I want to talk about today first is the second episode. Now, a lot of people were asking me why I didn't make a quicker video about the second episode. I was getting a lot of messages like, why don't we see a video about the second episode yet? Why haven't we seen a video about the second episode? I mean, honestly, they're just, at first, as purely as a reaction to this second episode here, there just wasn't that much to talk about. Like, it was another 3-hour, 25-minute episode, 2 million views in a day, great numbers, but it just, there wasn't, it was golf, you know, it was really just the golf. And one thing that, you know, tends to happen is there's no storylines, there's not really a video for me to make. And there wasn't the most intense need to get to it right away storyline until I came upon what I'm talking to you guys about today, which is, you know, a bit to do with this video, but also a lot to do with conversations I've been having that kind of sparked this. But the video itself was great. I mean, again, the best YouTube golf editing of all time, the best production ever, like storytelling, so good. Like, as far as just like an entertaining piece of content, like a good storytelling piece of content, it was absolutely incredible. Like, I loved watching it. I loved every second of it. I thought it was, you know, it pulled you along what it needed to pull you along for, which was the golf. But I think what made the first episode so unbelievably like intriguing was the fact that there was like this introduction to the whole thing where all these creators were kind of coming together and meeting each other for the first time, all the vlog footage at the beginning, but then the Lucoin thing. Like, I mean, I think you almost got to give Lucoin credit because he like semi made that first episode what it was. And I think to me, it kind of felt like the second episode was less interesting because it wasn't all about Lucoin. Like, there wasn't this inherent like drama and whatever. And Lucoin said it in his post, it's like good for content. And it, like, you know, 72 hours later, second episode in, the first episode to me was thoroughly more entertaining than the second episode. So I've heard that there are lots more things like this to come. I don't know if they're to do with Lucoin or who, but apparently there's like multiple more like big dramatic things that actually, like, someone told me, make the Lucoin thing look like nothing. So, you know, it's exciting. I'm excited to see what those things are. I don't know. I wasn't there. No one's told me like any actual details on anything. I've just been hearing like chirpy murmurings. But yeah, there's just a lot going on in future episodes that are going to bring the juice. But this second episode, like, again, it was good. The golf was good. It was cool to see what happened. I won't ruin it for any of you guys who haven't finished it yet, because I know it's like we're going on 7 hours of content in 72 hours. It's a lot to watch between the first 2 episodes. So I'm not going to show you or ruin what happened in this episode, but it was really good. And it told the story of like 50% of the field was getting cut after day one, which Dave promised at the beginning, and that happened. So anyways, very interesting. Let's talk about Lucoin. So why I wanted to make this video today is because, like, he obviously has gotten so much heat for this. And I made tons of videos from the perspective of, you know, Bob and what he had to say, and other creators made the perspective from Luke and his response. I made a video from the perspective yesterday of the name show, which is Ryan Whitney, who was the most vocal there. Kirk Minhan, Dave Portnoy talking about it. Like, these are all perspectives, but now I want to kind of give this alternate perspective, a little bit detached, seeing now too a bit of a change in the tide a little bit over the last specific like 12 hours since this video had come out. So what I mean by that, when this first happened, episode 1 happened, it was like nothing but like hate towards Luke, like so much, like from people in Barstool, from people in his own audience, all the comments, everything was like so negative around Luke. And I tried my best to decipher it. I said, one of the first things I said, on the first video I made, go back and watch it at the end, I said, this too shall pass. Like, I've been around the internet long enough. This type of stuff never sticks long term. Yeah, it's gonna stick for Barstool people who like are like, maybe we'll see a post from Luke and comment on it for the next like couple weeks, but like, those people aren't YouTube golf fans who are going to be like watching or not watching Luke because of this. Like, they would never have watched him anyways. So the majority of the hate is coming from people who would have never watched him. There is some from within the YouTube golf community for sure, and I think knee-jerk reaction, even from fans of Luke, was disappointment in how he handled it and the lack of accountability he took, at least on camera, in that first episode. But what I've seen in the last 24 hours, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts below, but that group of people specifically, like the Barstool crowd is the Barstool crowd, the PMT crowd is the PMT crowd, like they're just going to hate Luke forever. But like, if I was Luke, I would not care at all. Like Luke has gotten more viral traction in the last 72 hours than his entire life combined, and probably more than he will ever get for the rest of his life. Like, and that's no knock against Luke. It's just like no YouTube golfer is ever going to be as big as Barstool or PMT. So, getting that level of like he's been posted on the Barstool main account like 20 times, like this overall, I know it sounds crazy, but this is a net positive for Luke. I really believe that. Like, it sucks, and it probably sucked a ton in that moment, and it sucks to get a bunch of hate, but like, it's the internet, and I think all noise is good noise. If there's anyone that's proven that, it's Jake Paul. I don't think Luke's out there trying to be a villain, but I don't know if he changed, by the way, I don't know if he changed his, let me flip back over to YouTube. I don't know if he changed his YouTube description recently. Maybe like a more hardcore Kwon fan can tell me if this is new or not, but his like bio on his YouTube channel right now is not everyone is supposed to enjoy my videos. Is that new? Or did like he just set this because of the fact that, people were hating on him like nuts? I don't know. Not everyone is supposed to enjoy my videos. So the reason why I'm showing that is like, I think maybe Luke understands and his fans understand. And, if people don't love him, it's almost like an infamy fame that can be helpful. So anyways, I've seen more in the last 24 hours comments from people now, almost like turning the tide. And I think that's a lot of his fans. And I think what that came from is like in the second episode, you had first the Gruden speech. Like the Gruden speech was unbelievable. It kind of rallied the team behind him. Luke went out and had not only a great performance in that second match, like in the ultimate shot match, but he had like great chemistry with Gruden, and like I think had for the most part a personality flip-flop from that first one. And I think maybe a bit of that was him like adjusting to where he was. Like all of these creators, I said to my wife the other day, it's like so funny to watch them because it's like every one of them, Luke, Rick, good, like Garrett, Grant, like all these creators are used to being the center of the show in a YouTube video. They're used to, like, they're the biggest. So they're always, even if they're on someone else's channel, they're almost always used to being the center of it. They're used to talking to camera and engaging in a certain way. Now they're just like a character among other characters, and they're not the biggest. They're not the most important. Like Grant, quite literally, has been shown like 4 times. I love Grant. I love him to death. He's the most boring character in this Internet Invitational because it's not really his kind of thing, in my opinion. He hasn't been shown. He hasn't had any exciting moments. It's like he doesn't exist. It's literally like he's not even in this thing. And it's a different type of entertainment. And I think the YouTube golfers, it's just funny to see them like put in this Barstool world. Again, I still see so many comments getting upset about Dave and this rules and everything. And it's like, you don't get it. If you're complaining about Dave making up rules and changing rules this is Dave's tournament. Like, yeah, it's partnered with Barstool Sports, but Barstool Sports is more similar to Dave and Barstool than you'd think. And at the end of the day, though, this is like Barstool, I'm pretty sure was the one that put up all the money. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Dave had said on his podcast he personally would put up $1 million. So I think it's more his show than Barstool Sports. Barstool Sports is more just like they understand YouTube golf. They're almost like consultants that like obviously have a hand in it and like, don't get me wrong, put a lot of work into it. But like, I think at the end of the day, well, Dave and Big Cat were the ones that had final say and everything. So like Dave making up rules and changing things on the fly, like that's just Barstool. That's just what this is. This is not the same thing as if Rick Shields would have hosted it. If Rick Shields would have hosted it, it would have been like official. It would have been scorecards. It would have been judges. It would have been stroke play. It would have been this, that, and the other thing. It would have been very, very different. Like the Duke wouldn't have been there. Sketch wouldn't have been there. Andrew Santino wouldn't have been there. But like, I'm telling you, the first episode was infinitely more interesting than the second episode because it had so much more personality. It had so much more drama. It had so much more excitement. That's what makes it super interesting. That's what like the Creator Classic, in my opinion, is missing. Like, not solely, but like, I think the more I've seen good YouTube golfers play serious stroke play events, the more bored I get the more bored I get. Like, it needs to be personality driven. There needs to be story. There needs to be something else that pulls us in. Like, I'll watch, Scotty going down on Sunday to win a tournament, but I'm not watching like Grant and like George, and I mean, I love those guys, but like that, it's just like I'll watch them in their YouTube videos, but I don't need to see them in this like third person, not interacting with camera as much type setting. I've said that a million times. And that's, I think, what Barstool has brought to the table. So, anyways, the second episode, Luke, I feel like he really had a moment where like he accepted all of what I just said. He accepted this like different world that he was being put into versus the world he's used to, and he played along with it a bit better. I think his personality came through a bit more. Like, there's nothing wrong with being like a dry, sarcastic person, but it's like, I think it's just maybe a bit of reading the room, and I think he came off a lot better in the second episode. And I think that, people saw that, and I think the tide with his own eyes started turning. The PGA Tour posted like Luke Kwon highlights, like Live Golf has posted something about him. Like, there's a whole mix of whatever. I said this at the beginning. I got so many comments from people being like, how could you say that? You're so wrong at the beginning when I said that this will all blow over and Luke will come out of this relatively unscathed, other than like having a Barstool audience now that like at least knows who he is. Might hate him, but knows who he is. People thought I was nuts. People said I was wrong. How could you say that? He was such like a bad guy, whatever. Anyway, I think we're seeing it now that what I said there is coming to fruition. And at least within the YouTube golf community, most people are kind of over it. Like, I don't get me wrong. I don't know if Barstool Sports is going to be like keen to collab with him anytime soon. I don't know if Luke will get invited back, but also like for content, it'd be kind of stupid not to. Like, he is the biggest content success out of the Internet Invitational so far. Out of every single YouTube golf creator, he is the most entertaining, popular, name-driven. He's been in the way you can tell who is the most like entertaining, popular, talked about person in YouTube golf is who's in my thumbnails consistently. If I'm putting someone in my thumbnails and titles consistently, it's because I know they're going to get clicks. I know people want to hear about them. I know people care about them. Like, that is my job, is to like have my finger on the pulse and know who is pulling the most heat right now. And Luke Kwon single-handedly is pulling the most heat. It helped that all these people were hating on him, but like he's pulling the most heat. So I think seeing that, his audience kind of flipping back in a little bit, it's been interesting, man. And I think if Barstool's smart, they're going to invite him back to the next one because he's a content factory. But anyway, my point is, aside from a few creators who seemed a little more upset, like Mason saying he's dead to me, like Joey saying he's dead to me. I mean, maybe they're just joking, maybe they're over it now. But like, if those ones don't forgive him, fine. But like, there's still a big amount of creators that probably won't care. Now, Luke's comments, what you didn't see. So this is a conversation I've been having. It's what I teased in the thumbnail and title of this video. I've heard from a lot of sources that Luke had some like actual serious accountability apologies off camera. They haven't made it on camera yet. Apparently the ones that I'm being told have happened. I don't know if they will. I don't know if they were truly off camera, like nobody filmed them, or if they just haven't been shown yet. Maybe they will be eventually. I feel like the time frame would make sense that it was probably after episode 2 finished filming. So maybe they'll be in episode 3, maybe not, I don't know. But that he personally went up to Dave, Bob, a bunch of other people on his team and like genuinely apologized. He had that apology after the Gruden speech that we did see on camera, which I think turned a lot of people towards him, be like, okay, good, he's taking accountability. His knee-jerk reaction was bad, but hopefully he learned from that and he won't do that again. Clearly never been really part of a team. That's what a lot of people are saying, and that's obvious. No golfers. I don't think golf teams count. Like I don't know, personally, growing up playing a real team sport, I don't know if golf teams count. That could be a contentious take on a golf channel, but I don't really think golf teams count. Never really played team sport. Doesn't really understand that dynamic. If a golfer screws up, they just wear it on their shoulders. I did this in my video yesterday. Nobody's going to come down on them. People are probably going to support them, be like, oh, it's too bad, man. Because like, haha, you're my competition, you're out. So it's like fake support. Whereas this was like a true team dynamic. Anyways, he took more accountability in that setting with Gruden. But allegedly, there were multiple conversations that happened off camera. So kudos to Luke. Like, if that's the case, like I don't doubt that he actually did feel bad. Whether or not he like cared the most about this event or not, it's hard to say. I mean, I think it'd be weird to argue that somebody didn't care about potentially winning, $500,000 or whatever the total net prize is going to be for each individual. I think Luke would probably choose to take that money and win that money if he could versus not. But his level of care might just be more of a personality trait. I think at the end of the day, the accountability was taken. Did it happen soon enough? No. Did it happen in the right time? No. Did he look horrible on camera for how he reacted? Yes. And maybe is that a personality flaw that he's working on? Maybe. But at the end of the day, when it was all said and done, apparently he had really good conversations and took some real accountability with people. So will we see those? I don't know. Were they even filmed? I don't know. I've just been told by people close to him at the event, whatever, that these conversations did happen, and they did take some accountability. So credit to him there. Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be interesting to watch. I think he's already done a good job. I've seen a couple clips where he's playing into it. Some brands associated with him are playing into it a little bit. I think that's the move. You just lean into it. Like, I think even at the event, if he just would have like leaned into it in one of two ways, like if he would have just gone up to Dave and just started screaming and arguing, like that would have worked. Like they would have liked that. If he would have had some passion, they would have liked that. So however he wants to lean into it, if he's willing to lean into it now, that's going to be a net positive for him. So I'm be interested to see how that plays out. But anyways, guys, that's the video. That's the update. Comment your thoughts down below. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one.